Coming up on Newscene, the San Diego Board of Supervisors joins the Justice Department in their lawsuit against the Golden State. How residents are responding.
Plus, former FBI Director James Comey sits down in his first public interview since being fired last year. We have the latest coming up.
And Star Wars announces its first ever African-American female director. We'll see how she's bringing a new twist to the Star Wars series.
And how a legendary surfer made a legendary rescue in Hawaii. Newscene starts right now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us this Friday evening. I'm Marissa Gonzalez.
And I'm Colton Chavez.
Tonight we start off with breaking news. A student was injured during a high school shooting in Ocala, Florida this morning. According to a spokesman for Forest High, a 17-year-old was shot in the ankle. The suspect, a 19-year-old who is not a student, is now in custody.
The student was transported to a hospital with what appears to be a non-life-threatening wound. The shooting occurred just moments before students were supposed to walk out in support of the national protest against gun violence. The demonstration is in honor of the 19-year anniversary of the Columbine High School massacre.
San Diego County votes to back the Trump administration in its battle against California's so-called sanctuary state laws. Newscene's David Jones has the report. David?
Thanks, guys. This week, the San Diego Board of Supervisors announced they will be backing the Justice Department's lawsuit against California. Last month, the administration filed the suit against Senate Bill 54, which it says limits cooperation between local law enforcement and federal agents. There were several demonstrations leading up to Tuesday's vote, urging county leaders to opt out of joining the suit. However, the board did vote 3-1 in favor of siding with the administration, citing public safety as the top priority. We spoke with several residents to ask for their thoughts on the board's decision.
SB 54 and the other two laws that were mentioned, they act to protect criminal illegals. We have a state that is a magnet, and the laws that have been passed are an unconstitutional overreach. This is about public safety.
I think it's important that we are clear about what we mean by sanctuary, because sanctuary doesn't mean that everyone is going to be protected. If people have, if agents show up with warrants, they are still able to enforce those warrants, right? So I think we need to talk about being a welcoming city, being a welcoming county.
People are being taken from their home. They're being taken from their families. You know, maybe they have a criminal background, but crime in America is far more complicated than we think, you know? So people like that, you say felon, and that makes you think, oh, they're horrible people. But no, that's not always the case. And some people turn around, you know, maybe they were bad before, but they've changed, you know, and now they have a family and they've been here 20 years, and they're pulling those people out and throwing them back to their country where they don't have a family.
This does make San Diego the largest county to vote in support of the lawsuit, which they will submit if the case is appealed to a higher court. We'll continue to follow the story as it develops. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, David. Now, meantime, President Trump lashes out at Governor Jerry Brown's decision to mobilize the National Guard but not have them enforce federal law. He called the move a charade that the federal government will not pay for. Our Gabe Salazar takes a closer look.
Governor Jerry Brown coming to an agreement with the federal government that will see 400 members of the California National Guard deployed to the southern border to help fight gangs and drug traffickers but not enforce immigration law. The announcement follows the release of new Homeland Security data showing in fiscal 2017, 142 gang members slated for deportation were instead released by local law enforcement. Federal officials say this proves the need for a greater crackdown and more border security.
This deployment will also give Congress more time to take action to fix the loopholes and to fully fund the president's proposal to fund the border wall.
2/3 of the gang members shielded were in California. The state now locked in a battle with local cities and counties that are opting out of the state's sanctuary law, including San Diego, prompting an angry response from some immigration advocates.
The supervisors does not represent the community of San Diego.
Now, at least 9 other Orange County cities, and the Board of Supervisors have passed anti-sanctuary resolutions or have voted to join the lawsuit.
Northern South Korea is reportedly set to announce an official end to the war. Seoul is seeking to improve relations with their northern neighbor following decades-long military conflict between the two countries. According to South Korean officials, in order to be in a peace treaty, Pyongyang must denuke. President Trump spoke on Tuesday, giving his thoughts on the peace treaty between the Korean countries.
They do have my blessing to discuss the end to the war. People don't realize the Korean War has not ended. It's going on right now, and they are discussing an end to the war. So, subject to a deal, they would certainly have my blessing, and they do have my.
The announcement comes as North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and South Korean President Moon Jae-in plan to meet on April 27th.
Just before the release of his new book, former FBI Director James Comey spoke out and called President Trump a liar. Sorry for those technical difficulties, but during that interview, afterward, Comey was on the Stephen Colbert Show, where he says some details of the Russian probe were looked over by the FBI and cannot be included in that book as they remain classified.
Cuba is going through one of its biggest political changes in over 50 years. Raul Castro is stepping down as president due to health-related issues. This marks the end of Castro's era in Cuba. His predecessor is Miguel Diaz-Canel. This is the first time since the Cuban Revolution the country will be led by a political figure with no relation to the Castro family. Even though he is stepping down, Castro will remain head of the Communist Party. During his time as president, he opened a small private sector on the island. He also improved relations with the U.S. and allowed for a president to visit with former President Obama, the first time in over 88 years.
Now the Caribbean is being hit once again by another island-wide blackout. Puerto Rico is suffering a major power outage just 7 months after Hurricane Maria destroyed their electrical grid. The Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority boasted Wednesday that less than 3% of their customers remained without power. Within hours of that statement, an excavator that had gotten too close to a high-voltage line caused every home to lose power immediately. Traffic congested roads near schools and businesses, and many businesses have been forced to shut down.
Starbucks is facing backlash after a controversial arrest last Thursday. Stay tuned for the latest updates.
Plus, one of San Diego's biggest employers gives the pink slip to more than 1,000 employees. Why the chip maker is looking to curb costs amid Broadcom's bid for the company after the break.
Psst, they're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Now, earlier this week, the wife of our 41st president and mother to our 43rd passed away.
George H.W. Bush is the latest in the Nimitz line of aircraft carriers. She is unrelenting, she is unshakable, she is unyielding, she is unstoppable. As a matter of fact, probably should have been named the Barbara Bush.
Flags are at half-staff countrywide as the people around the world mourn the loss of former First Lady Barbara Bush. The Bush family matriarch showed her impact as condolences come in on social media, including those from her family. Former President George W. Bush posted this photo of his parents to Instagram, saying, quote, "Our souls are settled because hers was." Barbara's grandson tweeted that not only did she live her life, she lived it well. Barbara Pierce was born in Queens, New York, and was just 16 when she met her husband, the man we came to know as our 41st president, and the man she was married to for 73 years.
I married the first man I ever kissed. You talk about a bore. I am the world's worst.
Outside the political realm, one thing was clear. Barbara Bush spoke to the love of her family.
I know that I'm the world's luckiest woman. I think if I sort of put it in a nutshell, these are the things that are important to me. Faith, family, and friends.
The life and legacy of former First Lady will forever be etched throughout history.
Barbara Bush was a strong advocate for literacy and was an early supporter for the civil rights movement. The public viewing is taking place today and the service is happening tomorrow.
A Southwest flight took off from New York and was forced to make an emergency landing after reported engine trouble. Witnesses on the plane saw one of the engines explode, causing a window to shatter and sucked out a woman. As the pilot was able to safely land the plane in Philadelphia, 148 of the passengers were able to walk out. However, 7 were injured along with the female passenger, who later died from injuries. Meantime, Starbucks is under fire for allegations of racial discrimination following an arrest made last Thursday. One of the Starbucks locations located right here in downtown San Diego. We spoke to one of the managers inside the store who said he could not issue any response to what had happened in Philadelphia. The company had sent out a wide email to every employee saying that no statements could be issued and that we could do no filming on their property. Later next month, Starbucks will be closing its 8,000 U.S. stores to conduct racial bias training for its nearly 175,000 workers. Training will be for a few hours on May 29th, aiming to prevent discrimination in their stores. The move is the coffee chain's latest response to a controversial arrest of 2 African Americans at their Philadelphia location last Thursday. The 2 men refused to leave after trying to use the store's restroom without making a purchase. Since the arrest, CEO Kevin Johnson issued an apology calling the event reprehensible.
I want to apologize to the community in Philadelphia and to all my Starbucks partners. This is not who we are, and it's not who we're going to be. We are going to learn from this, and we will be better for it.
While Starbucks is working towards taking the necessary steps, customers don't seem as forgiving.
When do we want liberation? When do we want it? Now! If we can't get it, shut it down! If we can't get it, shut it down! If we can't...
The company did say Holly Hilton, the manager of the Philadelphia Starbucks, no longer works at that location, although Starbucks would not comment on the reports that she left the company by mutual agreement. And since then, Starbucks says they've recognized the faults, but they are focusing their message on racial bias rather than on store training.
Newscene will continue to update you as the story develops.
One of San Diego's biggest employers lays off over 1,000 of its employees. Qualcomm announced yesterday it would cut operation costs by $1 billion as it hopes to boost investor profits. Nearly 300 Bay Area employees are also included in the layoffs, though the company says some are temporary.
This after Broadcom's bid was blocked by the president last month, citing concerns of national security. Supporters of Soccer City are suing to remove the SDSU West initiative from the ballot. The lawsuit claims the initiative misled voters by using SDSU's name in its campaign.
Soccer City wants to build an arena at the old SDCCU Stadium in Mission Valley. SDSU West would use the site to extend the campus and build apartments, stores, as well as football stadiums.
Now, many headliners are in the world of sports. What's going on, Claudia?
Thanks, guys. Now, San Diegans, here's a story that will make you guys feel proud. Chula Vista native Desiree Linden became the first U.S. woman to win the elite Boston Marathon race in more than 30 years. Her time was 2 hours, 39 minutes, and 54 seconds. Linden attended Hilltop High School, where she broke the 5-minute mile speed. Newscene spoke to her former coach, Mark Henderson, and this is what he had to say.
Years before I came over to Hilltop, so I already knew who she was. Everybody track and cross country knew who she was because from the time she was a freshman, she was the best runner in our league. She may not realize it, but she's still dearly loved and remembered here back in Chula Vista.
The 2-time Olympian pulled away at the end of the Heartbreak Hill and was the first one to cross the finish line. Now moving on to neither wind nor rain can stop this Paralympian star. Tatiana McFadden won the Boston Marathon on Monday for the 5th time. She is also attempting to win the Boston-London Challenge by winning Boston and London marathons. These are 2 races that are only 6 days apart. If she wins the London on Sunday, she will win the Boston-London Challenge 5 consecutive times. Her life motto is Yasama, and this is what she means.
So Yasma is a Russian phrase. It means I can do it and I can do it myself. And I've always had that attitude since I was a young girl. I wanted to be independent. I didn't want anyone to help me. I wanted to figure it out.
McFadden is one of the best in her sport. She is a successful athlete with 17 Paralympic medals under her belt and has won more than 20 major marathons. Now moving on to the MLB fans, yet another upset for the San Diego Padres on Wednesday night as the Los Angeles Dodgers beat them 13-4. For the 3-game sweep. As we see, Madcam chops the ball down. Left foul line on Villanueva overthrows the ball to the first base, and Grandel rounds third and scores. Luis Perdomo hits sack to left field, and pitcher Carlos Osoga scores to cut the Dodgers' lead in half. Josh Fields from the Dodgers gets Eric Holmser out swinging to the end of the ball game as the Dodgers pull away late in the 12th inning. Now you guys, a 10-year-old from Pennsylvania is receiving support from her favorite team after disclosing she has been bullied for years in school. Yankees baseball player stepped up for the little girl named Cassidy Warren. The team shared a video on social media where 24 players showed up to support and anti-bullying messages. Yankees manager Aaron Boone says he hopes the team can make a difference and spread the word that bullying is not okay. Warren was invited to the clubhouse and will have the opportunity to meet some players. And will do it for the world of sports. Back to you two at the desk.
Thank you for that, Ellie. I have to tell you, being a Padres fan, I hate losing to the Dodgers. I was actually able to catch the game on Monday where we beat the Giants, though.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately I was there too because the Giants are my team, so I was a little upset.
So it's a little bit rough. You know, we come out with a divisional win against the Giants, but then we lose to, who are they? The Dodgers. I'm sorry. I know sports, I swear. Well, known sports anchor from Telemundo starts his own nonprofit. More on how he's looking to give back to the community.
And Star Wars announces its first ever black female director. More on the epic galactic story she's looking to bring to the big screen coming up next.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
The 13th annual City College Communications Symposium kicked off yesterday.
And a number of RTVS students presented their hard work throughout the semester. Here's a closer look.
Students had the chance to showcase their top projects at City College's 13th annual Student Project Research Symposium. Every year, teachers in the communications department choose the best work from their students from that year. The students who created those projects then presented as a way to persuade future students to join the program.
ABC, NBC, CBS, Channel 10, Channel 8, all of our students from City College are now working in the industry. So we're really proud of that, and we want you to know what we do.
Students interested in the communications department listened in as current and former students presented their work and explained how the RTVF department helped them in their career goals.
Bob Sly, he made me fall in love with sports broadcasting, and that's how I then made my way to Laura's class, RTVF 146, and she made me fall in love with news.
The symposium highlighted a multitude of research questions, showcased inquiry, and critical analysis.
As our Gabe Salazar reporting there. Now, future students were urged to visit the City College class schedule online if they were interested in adding any of the classes.
He's a familiar face in the border region. Humberto Guillermin spent years as a sports anchor at Telemundo.
After the station changed owners, he shifted gears, starting his own nonprofit organization. Heather Casas has the story.
In 2016, I suffered an accident. I went out surfing with my friends, and unfortunately, I dove off my board and hit the bottom of the ocean. And I broke my neck, which resulted in paralysis in my body.
In fact, 80% of his body remains paralyzed. However, he says unconditional support from family and friends is what gave him the motivation not to give up.
With a lot of hard work, a lot of support from my family, a lot of faith, a lot of perseverance, I was able to achieve goals and then transition into regular life.
Humberto became a sports journalist at Telemundo, one of the most prestigious Spanish news networks in the U.S. And not only that, he became a role model.
About 2.5 years ago, I decided to start a foundation.
Humberto created the Gourmand Foundation, an organization that is transforming the lives of many people with disabilities.
I knew that I had to give back to other people that needed opportunities as well. So hopefully going to help a lot more people in 2018 with scholarships and with grants for adaptive equipment.
He also wrote an inspirational book called From My Chair and produced a documentary Una Vez Más, which means one more time, winning 3 Emmy Awards, which tells the story of his accident and his return to the ocean.
But fortunately, today I'm here. I'm a college professor I worked for 14 years in the media. I still do a little bit of work in the media. And now I'm enjoying life and doing a lot of things, positive things.
Heather Casas, Newscene.
Professor Gurmalan has an important message that reflects how limits only exist in one's own mind, inspiring hundreds of students at the San Diego City College where he teaches classes.
Now the newest Star Wars installment is making history.
Melanie Green is here with our weekly entertainment update. What's going on, Mel?
Thank you, guys. Get pumped, Star Wars fans. The next installment in this beloved franchise welcomes its second unit director, Victoria Mahoney. The force was strong in Mahoney as she is the first black female director chosen to help bring yet another episode of the galactic story to life. On Tuesday, it was announced she would be joining alongside J.J. Abrams, who directed The Force Awakens in 2015, with Episode 9 set to come later this year. Newcomer filmmaker Kathy Yan is greenlit to direct a DC film based on Harley Quinn. Yan will be directing the film Birds of Prey, with Margot Robbie reprising her role as a rambunctious Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad. Yan will be the first Asian female director to helm a superhero movie and is the second female director to join the DC Cinematic Universe after Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins last year. Kendrick Lamar is also the first rapper to win a Pulitzer Prize. On Monday, the Compton native was awarded the prestigious award, for his 2017 album titled Damn. Kendrick's Pulitzer is a huge win for the hip-hop community. It's the first time in history this prize is given to an artist outside of jazz and classical genres. The album, which broke chart records, was praised by the Pulitzer Board for being an eclectic song collection which captures the complexity of modern African-American life. Another rapper making waves is none other than Kanye West. In another one of his Twitter rants, West reveals he is writing a philosophy book titled Break the Simulation. His life advice tweets are a part of his book, which he says he is writing in real time. West said his book is not a financial opportunity, but rather a need to express himself. West also released exclusive photos of his new shoe collection, and it announced he will be dropping into 2 albums in June, including a collab album with Kid Cudi. And the 17th annual Tribeca Film Festival kicks off this week in New York City. The events for this festival will run through April 29th. The festival will be screening a number of films from storytellers around the globe. This filmmaker event spotlights indie features, documentaries, foreign films, and the latest projects from A-list stars. Scarface was among the films screened this week. The cast and crew celebrated the film's 35th anniversary with a reunion from Al Pacino and Michelle Pfeiffer. An anticipated event to look out for is the Time's Up movement. Leaders like Whoopi Goldberg and Tariana Janine, will be hosting discussion panels to raise awareness about inequality in the workplace. And be sure to check out the Tribeca's Film Festival online to see what movies may be coming to a screen near you. And that about wraps up entertainment for this week. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks for that, Mel. Is there anything Kanye West doesn't do?
I really don't think so. Like, all over his Snapchat recently, he's been posting all of the new Yeezy shoes. I even saw like some high heels in there, so like I need to get on that.
I would love to see this guy's event calendar because it has to be just plastered with shoe designs, clothing, heels. The guy's pretty much doing everything. The kids' shoes. Can you imagine buying your kid a pair of Yeezys? That's like $300.
Yeah. Some people out there I'm sure would do it though.
I don't know if I would be able to do that. Well, coming up after the break, a rare whale sighting off our coast. More on the spectacular sight next.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. I did. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands? My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did. It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that strollers have the right of way on the sidewalk?
Yes.
Yep, I did. Did you guys
Did you know that kids who eat breakfast have higher GPAs?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's actually what I was going to say.
Did you know babies should never touch silver? It's really bad for them.
I knew that. Did you guys know that statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
I'm putting that on my blog.
I just put it in mine.
Welcome back. Well, a hero in Hawaii and an unusual sighting off our coast. Here's Tara with more on weather. What's up, Tara?
Thanks, Colton. A legendary surfer rescues residents in a flood in Kauai. So the flood from heavy rains forced evacuations earlier this week. Laird Hamilton, a big wave surfer, has been helping rescue these residents. The area has been hit hard by flooding, landslides, and power outages. Due to the rescues, he has been doing them at 4 a.m. all the way till the end of the day. If you have any family on the island, then I would check in on them because there is a possible flood coming up soon as well. And we've saved more than 425 people since the evacuation on Monday. And now we'll look at the national weather here. All right, so let's look at the weather here. We do have high 60s in the west coast. We have low 50s up north on the east coast. And we have a high 87 in Miami down here happening. High 87 in Miami. Let's go over to the local weather. So we have 60s in San Diego near the coast, and that's going to bring some breezes, but nothing too crazy. We have a low 51 in Mount Laguna and high 57 in Palomar Mountain. And now, if you did plan on going to Coachella this weekend, if you bought a last-minute ticket, earlier this week, the car camping was actually delayed due to heavy winds, but they have settled down. Now we're at about 6 miles per hour to 9 miles per hour down there. And we also had off the San Diego coast a whale sighting earlier this week as well. There was a killer whale seen this last Saturday. And it was from Dominic Biagini, a professional photographer for a local whale watching tour. This incredible video was captured, and there's a representative from the Birch Aquarium talking about it, saying that this is a very rare sighting in San Diego County. Well, that's all I have for you in weather. Back to you at the desk.
Well, I have to say that is a killer story.
All right, but now you can celebrate all things Pixar at the Disneyland Resort during its Pixar Fest. It'll feature a multimedia fireworks show and 2 parades. The Pixar Play Parade will show popular characters, the lamp and yellow ball from Pixar films, as well as characters from Up and Inside Out.
The second parade, Paint the Night, will be filled with million LED lights, which will involve characters from The Incredibles, Toy Story, and a mix of Pixar film stories. The fireworks show Together Forever will have projections with music displays moments from 19 Pixar films over the Sleeping Beauty Castle. This is also to help promote the new Pixar Pier that will open June 23rd. The Pixar Fest will be going on all summer until September 3rd.
All right, but that's going to be all the time we have for Newscene. Tune in next week for all your local, national, international news. I'm Marissa Gonzalez.
I'm Colton Chavez. Have a good night.